Okay, but the truth is that life or the world makes it very difficult for us to walk that healing journey. Because as you point out in your research, people who live with an unhealed father wound, they are also subject to external factors that amplify this wound. And more than that, external factors that actually feed off this father wound. And to me, that sounds like a perfect storm. So maybe you can explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the father wound, we need to recognize there's two factors involved here. There's the external factors, which we will come to, and then there's the internal factors that we've already been addressed. That is the wound itself, feelings of insecurity, fear, insignificance, worthlessness, those kind of negative emotions are internal factors already existing. Now, there's certain industries in society that flourish and are very productive on zooming in on people's insecurities to make it a profitable business. For example, the fashion industry and fashion magazines, they prescribe to people, you are what you wear. Your value as a person is determined by the material wealth you've got. And people that can't afford that can't afford to wear the brand names, automatically get ostracized. And you see it very clearly in schools where children operate on that basis, and they go very strongly on brand names, and then they select their friends according to that. And again, children was not born to think like that. The parents have taught them to think like that, because by the way parents behave at home. So that is one example. The second problem we sit with external factors is what's caused by Hollywood. Hollywood produces a lot of movies. For example, the family movie 101 Dalmatians, produced by Walt Disney, where men are portrayed as morons, drunkards, idiots that can't think for themselves, and that women are superior and they don't need men, so they can do without men. And those have become the dictating principles by which Hollywood produce their movies and send it into the world. So the image of the man is constantly broken down. And on the one hand, you have society complaining, but men are not where they're supposed to be. But on the other hand, you have society breaking them constantly down. So it's a very difficult situation that men in general find themselves in. Then you have economic situations, like for example in South Africa, we've had apartheid, we've got affirmative action, you've got poverty. All those things break the value concept of a person down, and you cannot be what you really are meant to be if something or someone is constantly breaking you down. When you discriminate or have prejudice against a person for things that he cannot change, you are breaking him down in his human beingness just by being himself, and says he's not good enough, and that is destructive. So you have an economic and political system that is not, in this country, in South Africa, for example, is not helping the situation. Then you have movements like the feministic movement that are out to just break men down and move them out of the equation, out of families, and say women can run families on their own. But what it is actually creating is you got this door that's swinging on one hinge, because the other hinge is no longer involved. You create a lot of pressure on that hinge, and somewhere that hinge is going to give in and the door is going to collapse, and the door resembling the family.